Good morning, everybody. Today, I am joined by Yinzhu Piao, a rising force in the Cleveland state real estate market, who brings a powerful mix of data, discipline, and global perspective to everything she does. With a background in dentistry and a sharp analytical mindset, Yinzhu is known for helping clients make smart, strategic decisions that go beyond the transaction. Listen to this. Fluent in Mandarin, Korean, and English, she's built a reputation for bridging cultures, simplifying complex deals, and turning real estate into a true wealth building tool. Welcome, Yinzhu.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Yinzhu. Now I'm working in Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan Great Brokerage. It's nice to share my story with you.
Absolutely. And it's definitely one to tell because I met Yinzhu. This is kind of off script, but we'll go there. I met Yinzhu when she was working for the Jenny Chen team at Howard Hanna, and she was a rising star there. And once a agent hits a certain level of success, they make a decision and what they want to do next. So we'll get into what got you from Howard Hanna to Keller, more so where you are at today. But we have to take it way back. In 2012, you you're from China, studied dentistry in South Korea, and then moved to Cleveland in 2017 based off of your husband's job. So tell me a little bit about what did you learn about yourself moving from China to South Korea, now to Cleveland within that short period of time?
Okay, so it is a big question. So I was, be the dentist was, honestly, it's not my dream. It was my parents' dream. The dentist has the very decent income and very, it looks very nice. So that's why the parents would like to let me. My score is very high. That's why they said, "Oh, okay, you can go to the dental school." So at that time was, as the high school student, I didn't know what I should do, what I am really enjoying about, what I am really interested in. I didn't know anything about that. So I just followed the guide of my parents and learned graduated from the dental school. And for the further education, I went to South Korea and met my husband, and we got married. And after that, my husband got the job in Cleveland Clinic, so that's the reason brought us here. And after I arrived in Cleveland, I really was hesitating should I go to the Case Western Dental School for the international dentist program for 3 years to be dentist here in US, or I can do whatever I want at that moment. And I was thinking about my career as the dentist at that time. Honestly, I really didn't very excited about that job. I am very active person. I want to talking to the new friends. I want to running over the city. I am that kind of person. And let me sitting there for a whole day. And usually for the dental treatment, you cannot talk with the patients. No. I mean, it's a little bit bored for me. So I made the decision, okay, this is the opportunity to change my career. Maybe I can do better in other field.
Yeah. And how did investing, how did you even think about becoming an investor? Did you have anybody in your family ever do anything in homes or investing or anything in China?
Not at all. So first journey was begin with we rented a apartment like new arrivals. Everybody, they will rent apartment in Cleveland Heights. And I rented an apartment, which is quite expensive. It was 1 bedroom and over 1,000 like that. And I realized that the housing price here are not expensive. It is very affordable. But still, we had limited cash in our pocket, and we are just arrived US. There was no credit history. We couldn't get any kind of financing. So we have limited money in our pocket, and I wanted to have my own house because we had a plan to have a baby. So we were looking for the houses a while, and the houses was perfect, I cannot get it because you should pay over asking, and we couldn't afford that. And I was felt very frustrated. Oh my gosh, maybe I couldn't buy a house at that point. And very soon I realized that there were many, poor condition, need some work houses sitting on the market for quite a long time. Even it is in great neighborhood, but because the condition is very bad, nobody wants to buy it. Right. So I told my husband, okay, now I have time. Why not we just buy the poor condition house with a very low price and then renovate it and then live inside? Then we can save a lot of money, right? So because the one already finished the remodeling, moving ready houses were so expensive. So, so I started from there. I bought a poor house in nice neighborhood in Cleveland Heights, and I completely remodeled it. I was very, very lucky that the first general contractor I met was so great. He is the best contractor I have ever met, and even now I am working with him. So that was the successful story for when I purchased my own house. And after I finished remodeling my own house, I felt like, okay, I think I can deal with that. So I moved on the next project, and I bought another very, the worst condition house. And it was in very great neighborhood too. But at that time in 2017, it was only like 50,000. Can you believe that?
Oh my gosh. You moved here at the perfect time, Yinzhu.
And it is impossible now, but at that time, like 9 years ago, it was possible. And I bought that house and completely remodeled it again, and I sold it for good money. So that was the first investment property, and then I repeated it, and I bought, the rental properties after that, and expanded my portfolio. So that is the story.
That's incredible. So then at what point were you like, oh, okay, I want to get my real estate license and start selling houses and, because you're probably doing it. And then did you do it for sale by owner, or did you actually have somebody help you?
Oh, when Jenny was my realtor. She is great. And I really wanted to learn from her, first of all. Secondly, my own transaction in 2021 was over 1.5 million. So only for myself, to buy and sell. I am doing the flipping, and I am buying my portfolios. So I was thinking about why not I got the license and I can deal with these kind of properties myself for myself, right? So that was the main reason I got my license. I definitely didn't expect I can do this much. So it is all a surprise. I mean, I literally didn't expect that much.
Well, Yinzhu, it's not a surprise when you're strategic and you're smart and you're analytical. So, I'm actually have a whole thing of questions. I haven't even asked you one. So I love this. It's an interesting story to see where you've come and where you've gone. And we'll get to what your parents think now at the end. So what was the defining moment that you just said, I am going to just dive full in and I'm going to join a team? You joined with Jenny. And what really attracted you to working with buyer and sellers, not just the investment side?
You mean my difference between the traditional agent?
Yeah. What was it like, where you're just like, okay, I'm doing this on my own. We're doing investments. We're buying and selling. But then you start working with clients that maybe were referred to or you worked with on the other side. Was there a moment where you're like, I think I'm going to stop flipping houses for a moment and start just focusing more on residential? Or were you doing both at the same time?
Yeah. So, I've realized that my knowledge for the remodeling and this kind of market knowledge can help people. That is the first. And the people after my friends or my, the people nearby, knew I can do that work and I know about these old houses very well, they were trying to find me and ask me questions into what I should do with this problem, what I should do with that problem. And I always guide them, you should do this, you should do that. So I found that my knowledge can help people. That is the first thing. Secondly, I have a great accomplishment with helping these people with their successful portfolio built up. So that's the reason first year I was almost gave up because I found that deal with the clients are really tough. It was. I think I was a great client for Jenny because I knew the market and I can make a decision really quick. I like it or I don't like it. I clearly know what I'm doing and what I wanted. Right. But usually people don't know that. And you should guide them to make the great decision, make the right decision. So they are very, think about the very complicated thing, and they will make me crazy. So it's like it's more difficult than I expected to be a realtor. So the first year, I told Jenny, Jenny, I don't think this is my job. I think I am more interested in investing and flipping houses. And Jenny said, this is the first year. You can do better. Let's try. And the second year, third year, I get used to it, So I know how to deal with this kind of anxious from the clients. And I know how to comfort them. And I know how to guide them now. So it's kind of personal growth as a realtor, and I really appreciate Jenny, and I didn't give up at that time.
Yeah, and that's what's so nice about having a mentor, and that you are willing to grow along with your business. You have to evolve. But the cool thing is too, Yinzhu, is you also educate your clients. You work with a team of, you work with us, you have lenders, you have your construction team, or, all of your vendors, that you can rely on them enough to ease their minds to say, hey, we got you. You know what? We can narrow down. But being data driven, and I think that's what maybe made you a great client, is that you knew what you want. You did your research. What are the key numbers every buyer or investor should understand before making the move or deciding to invest?
That is a good question. So there are two kinds of investors, huge part. First is flippers. For the flippers, I always recommend that you should have at least 25% to 30% margin for one project. We will calculate all cost for remodeling in front, right? If the number makes sense, then we will move forward. Some of the investors will say, Yinzhu, I'm not that greedy. I don't need 25% return. Maybe 20% is enough. But I will say from my experience, sometimes your remodeling expense will be over budget, right? Or it's over budget. Or if the market is not as good as you expected, then the risk will be very high, right? So I'm very conservative for that. With more than 25% margin in calculation, you have enough cushion. You have enough cushion for any unexpected issues, right?
Absolutely.
So at least you should make sure you are not losing money. So with this strategy, so far none of my investors loses money with my guidance. So that is one. Yeah, that is the one part of the flipper. And the other part is the long-term rental. It is easy. I will suggest about 12% annually cash on cash return will be very ideal, but at least it should be 10% cash on cash return. So we always can calculate it before we make the decision to buy.
Right. I think that's smart. Now, what do you factor in now that price of goods are going up? Exports are going, everything is going up. Does that percentage change at all for either the flipper or the renter? The rental properties? No.
So it is very competitive. It's not like before. It is easy to find a deal with that return. But now you
Right.
should be patient. You should wait. You cannot, sometimes we should wait for half a year to find the right property. But
Right.
I didn't I come from 40%. In 2017, if the house, I cannot have the 40% return, I will not buy it. So it is the number I already reduced from the 40%.
Yeah. Right. Hopefully
So
the pendulum will swing back to that 40%, but not for some time.
So I found that if I stick with that 40%, I cannot buy the house now.
Right.
So I reduced from that to the 25%, but I cannot go lower. I cannot go lower. So that is the minimum at this point. I suggest my flippers. Still, we have a lot of flippers are working on. I have many listings will listed this spring. Some of them already sold. So I'm very excited for my clients. They can get that return.
Yeah, that's excellent. And you know what's great? And what I like what you said wait. And I think what's really, when you make that decision to be an investor, I want to do it right away. And you're going to lose. You might lose out. You might overinvest. And I like the patience. Patience is one thing, and being analytical is another. And taking the emotion out of it, because I find investors have way less emotion than just your basic residential, which makes sense. I mean, that's their job. That's the job. So what do you think separates a good property from a true wealth building opportunity?
So a good property is simply the one that is the functional and fairly priced and a safe place to live. But the wealth building property is an asset with a hidden potential. So this is often mean a property, where you can force the appreciation through the strategic renovations or by changing the use of space. Like now, I highly recommend suggest the midterm rental, which is great. Like that, the use of the space can be changed, right?
Yes.
So the true wealth building happens when you buy a property not just for what it is, but for what can become through the smart management or like the renovation or the timing or market timing, like that. So it's a strategy. It's not just the property as is.
I love it. Yeah, you don't wing it. And that's what I appreciate about your analytical approach, because it does translate into every single piece of what the silos that you're building with your business. This is kind of like we're changing topics here, because you do speak 3 languages fluently. I can barely speak English fluently. I asked Yinzhu when she learned English. She said in college. I said, I learned Spanish in college and I can say hola. So I'm impressed. So being multilingual, how did it help shape your ability to serve your clients at a higher level? Because now you're in a luxury market. I mean, you have all different silos, but you are approaching and are in that luxury market. So what's the advantage of having all of that, the different knowledge of, and being multilingual? How does it help you?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, multilingual skill is my biggest niche, I believe. Yeah. So the real estate transactions are very stressful and a little bit complicated. And there is a language barrier or a misunderstanding of the local customs or like that. So I am not just the translator. I will help the people to guide with that process with the, with their language, which make them much more comfortable. And also the people, the contractor I am using, like the Chinese contractor, like Korean contractor, they are such a hard worker. When I doing my remodeling in my house, my kitchen and my bathroom, even on July 4th, can you believe my workers are working? And all of the neighbor was discussing about, oh my gosh, Yinzhu hired the contractor who is working on holidays in July 4th. And they said, where did you find these contractors?
My secret, not telling you. No.
Yeah, and you can hear that, the hammers sound like that. And they said, oh my gosh, they are amazing. So very diligent, very, they are working until like the summertime, they are working until like 8 p.m. It's like they are very good contractors, but if I cannot speak Chinese, I cannot work with them. So these kind of, because I can speak these languages, so it will make my business much more easier. Both sides, like deal with the clients or deal with contractors, or very easier. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a comfort level because it's a very stressful emotional process. And if you can overcome that language barrier, at least you're taking that element of stress out. So yeah, that's amazing. So this is, and we don't have that much time, even though I can talk to you forever. So have you noticed differences in different cultures, how they approach real estate or risk and wealth management with dealing with so many people from different cultures?
Right. Yes, there is definitely differences. Even the people from the same country, like the China is so big, they have different cultures. Some cultures view the real estate as the saving account, multi-generation account, and prefer to avoid any kind of debt. They just want to buy with cash. They are not comfortable with any kind of loan or financing. And some people are more aggressive. They want to high leverage tours to rapid expansion. It's different culture. So my job is to respect those cultural philosophies while providing the data. They need to make the best decision within their comfort zone. I don't try to change their mindset. I try to optimize their strategy to fit their specific goals.
That's great. So you adapt to their comfort level, which is respectful. Yeah, it is really important. So what is about your client experience that feeds your referral business? Because I think you're very hard on yourself. I mean, you're very good at what you do. And, you have very high expectations of the way you deliver your business. So how has that brought you your referral business? What should they expect working with you?
Okay. So I believe the most important thing is the after the sale commitment. I don't disappear once the commission check is received. My clients see me as a lifelong consultant. Whether they need a contractor for a kitchen remodel a year later, or like the market update to see if they should refinance at this moment, I am there. So this kind of availability for the clients are creates the level of the loyalty.
Yes.
That naturally turns my clients into my biggest advocates.
Yinzhu, can I ask you about your Friday night dinners?
Oh, yeah. So
because I'll just tell you, I heard this story. This is a pearl that Yinzhu does, and I don't expect people to replicate it. So I just think it's really darn cool. Tell us about your Friday dinners.
So the motivation for the hosting the Friday dinner was not for the referrals. It's the first motivation is because of my son. My son is only only child in our family. So he doesn't have any siblings to play with, right? And he always he's feeling lonely, and I don't have plan to have the second baby. What should I do?
You can borrow some of mine. Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you were asking. Just kidding.
So I have to invite some friends for the play dating, correct?
Yeah.
So I wanted my son to be happy, and my son always say, I like Monday to Friday. I don't like weekends, because weekends I feel lonely in weekends. There's no friend to play with. I like to go to school. So my heart was broken. Oh my gosh, I cannot give you sibling. So I have to socializing, like hosting events or hosting gatherings in my house to find the friends for him to play with, right? So that's the motivation to hold these gatherings. But I found that with these gatherings, oh my gosh, they return with a lot of referrals, which is great. And I also mentioned this when I was the panel in young team mastermind education. I sort my clients to different group, and I wanted them, let them social in with my help, and I connect my clients to each other and with my network and the justice of professionals like the lawyers, contractors, the medical field, the doctors, like the nurses. With my network, they can communicate themselves, and they value that goes far beyond the transaction. I can provide, do you need this? I can find a person to connect to you, and we can gather together in the Friday night.
Yeah,
And
right.
you can have fun, and you can brought your kids, can play it with my kid, like
Yeah.
that. So it's the win-win situation. And after they got my help, and they would like to give me something back, right? And they
Sure.
said,
Right.
okay, Yinzhu, I will refer you my friends who are looking for a realtor to sell or buy. So that's the great, like the ecosystem can bring me the new clients.
Right. And what I like is that you were trying to solve a problem for your son.
Mm-hmm.
And since you weren't having other children and mine weren't available, you started this amazing network. But you came from contribution. You're trying to help your son. Then you're trying to help your community. Then you're bringing everyone together. That's a master connector, Yinzhu. There are very few people that still connect in that manner. It's not old school. It's what it is to me is the gatherings just don't take place like they used to, especially when you don't know the group. So I think that's just awesome because you're opening it up to a whole community. And of course, you're going to get referrals because it's just who you are. So you're just opening that community up. And I think that is so cool. Do you do it every Friday?
Pardon me, what is the question again?
Do you do it every single Friday or a couple times a month? Or?
Almost every Friday. But if there is like in spring season, I am super busy. So sometimes I will skip 1 week. And my son will ask, who will come this Friday? And I said, sorry, this week we have to skip this week. And my son was, oh my gosh, so upset about that. Nobody will play with me this Friday. But I am trying my best to hold the, this kind of dinner or gathering every week. But I am trying my best. I am really hoping, like in the winter time, the outside is so cold, and people want some gathering to, warm together. It's like no place to go the Friday, and they will come to my house and play dating and talking, gathering, socializing. That's great.
That, I was talking to this coach the other day, and it's like just kind of like outrageous level of customer service, even though you're not thinking of it like that. It's just an extra layer. So we're going to wrap up soon, but I thought this was great. I remember talking to you and you wanting to see yourself in the industry at a level where you would be, I don't want to say appreciated, but a certain accolade. And then you just made the cover of Cleveland Real Producers. And that is something that is, it's such a nice recognition. And when they approach you, how did it make you feel?
You mean the clients?
No, I'm saying just being recognized amongst your peers in our industry to be the cover of a magazine that is a monthly production in our area. Like, hi, I have arrived. How did you feel about being asked to be on the cover?
It's great experience. Now more and more people, more and more colleagues and peers recognize me, and it's like I have many agents I am continuously working with, and they know who I am, and they know I am working professionally. So it's good for the future business to somebody, we are sometimes in multiple offer situation, right? And if the seller's agent know, Yinzhu is a great realtor, and they will more likely to work with you, then it will give me great advantage for my presenting my buyers. It's same as the sellers, the same. So I mean, it is great experience, and many clients send me the message and say congratulations. I mean, it's like proud of you, like that. Many warm words. I'm happy with I can be the cover agent, and I will keep working hard.
Yeah, Yinzhu, your production is just awesome. I am so happy for you because I see how hard you work. I've actually seen, I was on a walk a couple years ago, saw you at one of your investment properties.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, what are you doing? I mean, like, you're not afraid to get in there. And you built a wonderful business. And I'm just very happy for you, Yinzhu.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. It has been another edition of Tenacious J. Thank you again, Yinzhu. I appreciate you. And all right, everybody. See you next week. Let's sell a home together.